Ethan opens his eyes on the library floor. Infinite shelves stretch beyond sight around him. He feels no pain, no cold, only stillness. A glowing book drifts toward his outstretched hand. A distant voice welcomes him beyond death. Ethan slowly rises, stunned by the endless library around him. He searches his body and finds no pain, no cold, no wound. Glowing pages whirl around him like whispers made of light. Drawn onward, Ethan follows the pages into the heart of the library. A distant voice calls to him from beyond death. At the heart of the library, a radiant presence awaits him. A luminous figure stands waiting upon the central dais. "Welcome, wanderer," the distant voice whispers. "Where am I?" Ethan asks into the silence. "This is the eternal library, beyond death." Ethan takes a step forward, drawn to the voice like gravity itself. The knowledge here is infinite, yet it does not overwhelm him. The voice becomes a presence, and the presence takes form. "I am the keeper of stories, the watcher beyond death." Ethan realizes the truth. This is not the end. This is the beginning of something greater. Your mortal life has ended, Ethan, but your story has not. "Then, I really died?" Ethan asks, shaken. Death is only a page, not the final chapter. A new path opens before him. Another world, another beginning. "Will you accept a second life?" the keeper asks. The library is not just knowledge. It is memory, record, and possibility. If I can understand this place, maybe I can change what comes next. To shape the future, Ethan, you must first shape yourself. The trials ahead will test your will, your heart, and your understanding of both light and dark. Then I will face them, for my past and for the future I will create. The keeper studies Ethan's resolve, and the library itself seems to listen. The keeper summons a sphere of memories between them. In the light, Ethan sees his old life, his death, and the regrets he still carries. Beyond the memories, a new world opens before him. Ethan accepts rebirth, and the memory sphere opens into a field of testing light. Beyond this library lies the multiverse of realms, countless worlds, each with its own fate. Some realms flourish, some fall. Balance is delicate, and it is always tested. And shadows, there are always shadows that seek to consume everything. One day, a darkness greater than any before will rise again, and many will be lost. You, Ethan, have the potential to change that fate, but the choice will always be yours. "Then I will choose," Ethan says, meeting the keeper's gaze without fear. The keeper raises his hand, and the first trial circle awakens beneath Ethan's feet. Runes whirl around him as the eternal library transforms into a chamber of living memory. From the light and shadow, an echo of Ethan's old despair takes shape before him. Ethan steadies himself and steps forward. The first trial of rebirth has begun. The keeper opens a portal of knowledge, and Ethan beholds the next step of his fate. An enchanted book answers Ethan's touch, and its ancient wisdom begins to stir. A vision of war and ruin rises before Ethan, a warning of what may yet come. Beyond the warnings, Ethan glimpses a world of wonder still worth saving. A radiant one-way portal opens. "Keeper, your story begins now. Knowledge is power, but choice is destiny." Ethan steps through the portal, and the light of rebirth swallows him whole. Within the portal, Ethan is swept into the space between worlds. Fragments of Ethan's old life shatter and fade as rebirth magic pulls him onward. The power of rebirth engulfs Ethan, remaking body and soul in searing light. A final burst of light carries Ethan toward the world where his second life will begin. Beyond the final veil of light, Ethan is cast into a world utterly new. A blinding new light greets him, and newborn eyes open to the faces of his new mother and father. Reborn as an infant, Ethan opens his eyes in the arms of his new mother and father. Tiny and reborn, he sees the loving faces of his new mother and father above him. In the warmth of new arms and a new home, Ethan's second life quietly begins. Lady Marian cradles newborn Shiro, while Lord Theron watches with quiet relief. Shiro studies the unfamiliar faces of his new mother and father. Theron gently touches his newborn son's tiny hand. The bedroom door opens as a curious young girl peers inside. Shiro Nightfire sees her baby brother for the first time. She approaches carefully, afraid she might disturb him. The baby closes his tiny hand around Lyra's finger. Lyra's nervous expression breaks into a delighted smile. Marion asks what name they will give their son. Theron answers softly, Shiro. Theron, Shiro Nightfire. The name echoes inside the infant's mind, beside the fading name Ethan Reed. Lyra softly whispers the name Shiro to her baby brother. Night settles over the Nightfire estate. Shiro cries when his newborn body cannot obey his adult thoughts. Shiro, inner voice. So much for dignity. Marion lifts him and gently calms him. Faint blue threads of mana drift around the room. Shiro realizes he can see the threads when no one else reacts. The mana fades as his tiny fingers reach toward it. Dawn reveals the Nightfire estate, overlooking green hills and distant forest. The family's black and silver crest hangs above the great hall. Relatives and household members gather for Shiro's naming blessing. Marion presents him beneath the Nightfire crest. A ceremonial affinity crystal is brought forward. The crystal is placed beside Shiro's small hand. For several seconds, the crystal remains completely blank. The adults exchange confused looks. Countless colors flash inside the crystal and vanish too quickly to understand. At that very moment, Shiro's hair changes color. Only Shiro sees a hidden blue sigil at its center. Everyone in the room is so in shock that Shiro's hair changed colors. That night, moonlight spills across his cradle. A tiny arcane circle appears beneath him. A blue spark forms above his open palm. The candle flames bend toward the spark. Books on a nearby shelf begin to tremble. Lyra enters after hearing the noise. Shiro instinctively suppresses the spark. Lyra finds only her quiet baby brother staring back at her. A blue-white reflection briefly awakens in Shiro's eyes. The seasons turn, carrying the Nightfire child forward.